Hi guys, it's Pastel Pixel, and today I'll be redesigning one of my old characters. But before I get into the video, I would just like to mention that a lot of my viewers aren't subscribed, so feel free to do so because it would really help out the channel. Anyways, moving on. So the character that I'll be redesigning today is the antagonist of a comic that I made a very long time ago named Ezra. Her design always fluctuated, and it never seemed to stay exactly the same, and I never felt comfortable with the way she was designed. There were a few things that stayed the same, like the fact that she had thorny vines for hair or split skin that was half purple all the time, but I never quite felt like it was right. Hence, I'm trying to redesign her. A few things I wanted to change were the fact that her outfit, for one, wasn't quite appropriate for what she does in the, novel. It's not exactly fitting with the scenario, so I tried to find out what would be best for that scenario, like cargo pants or maybe a tank top, and I tried different things like tucked, untucked, and maybe even cropped, but I ended up sticking with a certain design that I liked the most. I also tried to change up her hair because in a lot of the drawings that I have in her, her hair changes a lot from being just like green hair to thorny vines to poofy to straight, and I ended up deciding that maybe it would be best to have a mix of both, but I ended up changing that later. Her eyes originally just were purple irises, and I changed that to end up being more like her power, and after that I had to decide what type her powerful stance would be. It could be like fire, or a gas, or maybe just a mist, and I ended up deciding on the darker mist that sort of looks see-through, but it's like so thick and solid you can't exactly really look through it. And instead of fully covering the eye, it would go under, so it's like seeping out, and I think that gives a really eerie effect. There are two forms of Ezra that I need to redesign, or the two forms that show up in the comic, and that is her sort of like fighting stance and her more normal stance. And when I do that, I need to decide all of the attributes of how she looks in both of the forms, if it changes her, if the lighting is different, if her eyes are going to glow or become normal, if her body changes in any ways. And so I'm drawing this fighting stance character, and one of the things that I think is gonna stick with this design is the fact that her pupils are white. Maybe her eye color is more of like a dark black purple, and so having that white will really make it pop. So that's a choice I really want to keep. Now that we have all of those characteristics down, I'm going to take the original sketches of the full body and move them onto another page. And this is where I'm going to do the full body line art and coloring. So all of the choices that I made prior are now final. Like how I decided that her skin would now be one solid color, and I'm actually going to keep the more poofy but flat hair. Her outfit now mainly just involves tennis shoes, some khakis, and a tucked in shirt, and I think that's really appropriate for how she gets there and why she's there. With the monotones and the more uniform like outfit, I think it makes more sense than a ripped crop top and leggings or very uneven shorts. The neutral grays and browns of the outfit and the green and light terracotta of the skin form an overall color palette, with the other pop of purple of the tennis shoes, which lead to a pleasing warm and cool balance over the eye. And when you turn that into a semi-purple, which is otherwise the purple of the mist that she produces, that is hence toxic, you get sort of tied together theme, and it was lacking that sort of, definition in the other themes and ideas of her character. Like, there would be lots of differing ideas swirling around in her design that were never finalized, and she wouldn't ever be a substantial character. While I didn't write this comic for the longest time, if I did end up having to do lots of scenes with Ezra, then I would have severely struggled trying to draw her over and over again in the comic, and that would have made the experience less enjoyable. Like how on other projects, I've had to redesign a character, or the main character in the status even, until the point where I felt comfortable. And if I didn't feel comfortable, I would sometimes have to either slightly tweak her design or even redo most of the project. Because if I didn't like that design, then I wouldn't have had the motivation to finish the whole entire project. Whether that be a comic, some form of animation, or maybe even something else, like a multimedia project or a large painting. If you don't like the main element of that project, then it might damper the experience of what you're doing. Even not having the right design for a side character in the past that I didn't like stopped me from moving forward in my comic, and I really like how the end design turned out for both sides, even if the project may be over. Well guys, that's it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell me your thoughts about the video in the comments down below. Keep on making your amazing creations. Bye, see you next time.